For our next loft visit we come to Carluke, and this is George Brownlie, top national flyer. Good afternoon, George.
Afternoon, Keith. Very pleased to have you here.
Thanks. How long have you been in the sport?
More or less all my life. For the early days, cleaning the loft and carrying the baskets to the station as it was in those days.
Yeah.
We used to walk along the railway line to the station with the birds.
Yeah.
I did go out of the sport for a period of time when I got married.
Yeah.
But the guilt went off the gingerbread kind of quick. I was back in the Pigeon before very long.
What's one or two of your best performances?
I think possibly my best performance is 6 open wrens. Although I've won the section a couple of times.
Yeah.
Third section, fourth section. The birds were at my father's in the early days, and when he retired through ill health I brought them here and I started using my own methods, more carbohydrate feed, etc. And the first year of my own here we had a race for a avalanche. There were no day birds and I timed in at 5:30 in the morning. I think I was 5th opening. That's possibly one of the performances I remember because it was my first shot on my own, and it was a marvellous feeling that morning when he dropped, and it was a bitter cold morning.
Yeah.
And in fact I had thought I'd won it until we heard that there were some earlier ones in. Anyway, that's the great thrills you get with birds, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
You're the winner until you got to the clock station.
What sort of racing do you like? Do you like long distance or short distance?
I like long distance racing, and it's always been the sort of aim of the family.
Yeah.
My grandfather, he's dead and been a long, long time now, he was in the birds, and his brother was also a great fan, so he won wrens in 1925.
Oh.
These birds came from Ireland, were Putmans. They came from Ireland, from Belgium to Ireland, of course, then to here. They were a great family of pigeons.
This is a nice pigeon, George. What's this one?
Yeah, called that one Daydream. She was first West Section wrens. I think about 50th open. The birds come up the East Coast that night and cut across. I timed her in just after 9 o'clock.
Yeah, how far's wrens?
Wrens is 535 miles to me.
Yeah,
she was a great pigeon. I timed her in the day from Bournemouth. It was a hard race. The birds were late at night. And I always remember I went into the loft in the morning and you wouldn't have thought she had actually had a hard race. She recovered so quickly. I remember noting that in my book.
Yeah.
And of course the following year I prepared her for wrens.
Yeah. What system was she raced on?
Race natural, Keith. I prefer the natural system.
Yeah.
And hens in particular.
Yeah. What's her favourite nest condition?
I send them about 16 days. Maybe a wee bit sooner, just depending. I don't try not to interrupt the cycle, just let it take its natural course.
What system you race your birds on then, George?
The old system, pair up, beginning middle of March, and just let them go their own course, rear a single, a double youngster, 3 races, and then train privately for the nationals.
Yeah.
And again the hens, prefer the hens, sitting 16 to 18 days. The cocks, if we send them, although I don't race cocks very well, if we race the cocks I send them with the way Fallowhill won, with a big youngster and looking to his hen. Although Fallowhill was just a wee bit longer now, he had an 18-day youngster when he won the national.
Yeah. So you like the old natural. What about the training of the pigeons? Where do you train them from?
Unfortunately, due to the hawk problem, we're very limited now. I worked in Glasgow for a number of years and I actually trained them from Glasgow. Although I had a handicap, I wasn't at home to watch them coming home. And there's a lot of wires in the city, of course. I suffered quite a few fatalities with that. But I now train out of Edinburgh, and again, there's less hawks, and it's about 25 mile, and really I find that's just about enough anyway.
Yeah. So,
I'm happy with that.
Is Edinburgh on the line of flight?
No, no.
So you don't think it matters?
It's not in the line of flight, but the way our pigeons are coming in our wrens night, they're coming out east, the birds are coming up and they're hitting Duns area. And coming up and they're coming in, there's a corridor just at Edinburgh and they come back into this area.
Yeah. What do you feed your birds?
I feed quite high carbohydrate. Yeah. I feed maybe about 25% peas and the rest is maize and wheat. I like wheat, I like a lot of wheat in my feed. Yeah. I've always done so and I found it very successful.
This is seen inside one of George's natural old bird sections. And he prefers the open front nest boxes. That's a nice blue. What's this one, George?
It's a very good pigeon. She raced well as a youngster and a yearling. I timed her in the Scottish National Sertilly as a 2-year-old, and I timed her badly last year. She wasn't ready for the Wrens race, but I was third in her own fed Sertilly race. Her father and mother were both Channel scorers, and that's possibly my principal hope this year for the National.
How many babies you breed each season, George?
I normally keep about 36, 46 for myself, and they're at stock loft. Maybe a few selected ones from the race team.
How far do they race?
I race them right out to Stafford. I find that if you race them right out as youngsters, you can actually jump them in the old bird season.
This is George's young bird loft. It's nice, light and airy. And he says that keeps the birds healthy. They certainly look happy. These are a few of George's early bred youngsters. What families of pigeons do you race in, George?
Van Hee sticklebot, but mostly Van Hee. In 1976-77, old uncle and I bought 6 pairs of them in. On the influence of Jim Biss, I had some Biss pigeons that were doing fairly well, and speaking to Jim one day, he said, "John, you should bring in the Van Hees and cross them in, because these Dordons are too pure." Anyway, we brought in the Van Hee pigeons, and we quickly whittled them down to 3 pair, and finally to 2 pairs, and we formed a family with those birds. And everything else went because they couldn't hold a candle to these Van Hee pigeons. Inside 3 years, we were 6 open wrens, 4th and 5th section Sertilly, great performances, won the Lancashire Fed averages. So we concentrated on the Van Hee pigeons, and I went and I brought sticklebots in, because that was my interpretation that was a big influence in Van Hee's loft, or looking through the pedigrees of his birds. And since then I've brought in some birds with sticklebot or Van Hee base on them, but they've really virtually gone out now, and I'm concentrating strictly on Van Hees, and that's the birds that I bred Falhill Superstar for my friend Eddie Callaghan, and the dam, he was a first cross sticklebot Van Hee. The dam of Falhill Superstar was a sister of my 6 open wrens birds, which were off what we'll call our old prepotent number 1 pair. And in turn, John Honeyman came and he got a cock from the sunny Falhill, and bred his wrens winner. And in turn, 2 years ago, the McCulloch partnership in Dalbeattie, they won wrens. They only had 2 Van Hee pigeons in their loft. They got them from my friend David Avely, whom I had started up in the sport. Again, that pigeon comes back to the pigeon that you've already photographed, Daydream, who was first West Section wrens. The 8 great grandparents of the McCulloch pigeon, or U-Star, actually came from here. Shrewd young Davy, who actually is a friend of young McCulloch, young Willie's.
Absolutely wonderful family of pigeons. How many stock birds do you keep then, George?
I keep 2 that many, to be honest. I've actually got 24 pairs of stock birds in there, and that's including feeders. But I'm going to really cut that right down, because I find they're healthier when you've got less.
This is the scene inside George's stock loft, and the pigeons got bags of room. A nice flight on the front. The great George Brownlie, national ace.